हरत्वं संसारं द्रुततरमसारं सुरपते हरत्वं पापानां विततिमपरां यादवपते
स्वामिन् नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या
रज्व्यातिकारुण्य सुधाभिवृष्ट्या स्वामिन् नमस्ते स्वामिन् नमस्ते स्वामिन् नमस्ते स्वामिन् नमस्ते.
Yesterday we stopped at the point where Brahma and other devatas, they had come to the prison where Vasudeva and Devaki, they were chained and kept. Knowing that the Lord is about to descend, they had come to show their respect, their love and devotion to the Lord. And at that time, while standing in front of Devaki, who was carrying in her womb the Supreme Lord, they said, Shrinvan Grinam Samsmarayamscha Chintayan Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te Kriyasu Yastvaratvacharanaravindayo Avishta Cheta Nabhavaya Kalpate. They said that those who worship Thee with fervent devotion, hearing about His attributes, chanting His name, meditating on His form, and conveying the messages to other devotees, then even if they are engaged in various work, they will be verily liberated. They will be able to cross this worldly ocean without any difficulty. And they looked at Devaki and said, Mother, don't worry anymore. Don't be afraid of Kamsa. His end is near. Your son, who is going to be born, will kill him. So, we understand that these devatas, all the devas, including Brahma and Shiva, what are they saying? They are saying that the mind should be fixed on the Lord. The Lord should be always kept in our heart. Whatever we do, we may be doing household work or other work outside. Our mind should be on the Lord Himself, singing His name, thinking about Him. I think we can all do it. You know, Vyasadeva has said at the end of Bhagavatam, these beautiful slokas. Sankirtyamano Bhagavan Anantaha Shrutanubhavo Vyasanam hi pumsam Pravishya chittam vidhunotyashesham Yatha tamorko bhramivati vatah Sankirtyamano Bhagavan Anantaha. What Brahma and others said while singing their hymns, the same thing is being said. Vyasadeva is telling King Parikshit, O King, the worshipful Lord makes His presence felt in the heart of any devotee who sings his glory. Sankirtyamanaha Bhagavan Anantaha. The Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, he is Ananta, he is infinite. But that infinite Lord, who is also in our hearts, but we don't understand. Our mind is always outside, so we do not understand that he is there with his stretched arms when we will look at him and we will be in his bosom. But if we chant his name, if we sing his name, then he makes his presence felt inside. And when his presence is felt inside, all the dukkhas, all the tendencies which disturb us, brings about sorrow in our mind, all that is removed. How? Just like when the sun appears and the darkness which is created by the clouds, when the sun appears, all that darkness gets dissipated. Just like that, when the Lord reveals himself in our heart and we can understand it, all our misery is removed. He also says, Mrisha girasta hyasatira satkatha na kathyate yad Bhagavan adhokshajaha tadeva satyam taduhaiva mangalam tadeva punyam bhagavad gunodayam tadeva ramyam ruchiram navam navam tadeva shashvan manaso mahotsavam tadeva shokarnava shoshanam rinam yaduttama shloka yashonugiyate tadeva ramyam ruchiram navam navam tadeva shashman manaso mahotsavam tadeva shokarnava shoshanam rinam yaduttama shloka yashonugiyate. It says that all the talk and all the compositions, whatever we read or we listen to, if those compositions do not have anything about you, O Lord, Adhokshaja, then they are all unreal, false. What is real then? You alone are real. Wherever your name is, wherever your excellences are, wherever there is a description of you and your sport, that alone is real. Tadeva satyam, taduhaiva mangalam. That alone is auspiciousness, which sings the glory of the Lord, the Supreme Lord. Tadeva ramyam ruchiram navam navam. And it is beautiful. It is very, very pleasurable and tasty. Tadeva shashvan manaso mahotsavam. It is not only that it is beautiful, it is navam navam, always new. Can you tell anything which is always new? Whatever we get, whatever we have, whatever we have wanted to have and we have got it, everything becomes old. Nothing remains always new. But the name of the Lord, His glories, His sports, His excellences, His exploits, they are always new because the Lord is ever present, always there. Tadeva shashvan manaso mahotsavam. And that alone brings about Shashvat Mahotsavam. Shashvat means eternal. Mahotsavam, where Manasaha, for the mind, His name, His glory, talking about Him, singing about Him, brings about eternal Mahotsavam. All our Utsavas, all our Mahotsavas, everything that we do, everything is transitory and fleeting. Only His name and His talk, that alone brings about Shashvat Mahotsavam. Tadeva shokarnava shoshanam nrinam. And that name, His glory, singing that dries up shokarnava, ocean of misery. Even if there is heavy adversity, lot of dukkha in anybody's mind, by singing His name, thinking about Him, contemplating on Him, that heavy ocean of misery and sorrow just dries up. Yad uttama shloka yasho nugiyate, when His yasha is sung. And that is what we are doing. These 5 days, we have chosen to think about Him, hear about Him, know about Him, assimilate and be one of that, and become the source of Shashvat Mahotsavam, the Mahotsava which will never leave our mind. Whenever we are happy by getting our objective desires fulfilled, we are happy. All that goes away. Maybe the next day, maybe after a few years, but nothing remains. This samsara is always changeful. Nothing is eternal here. Only the Supreme Lord is eternal. He alone can bring about that Mahotsava which will never disappear from our mind. And we will be doing that. We have been waiting for Him to come. He is to appear today. And the whole world is waiting for Him. Vasudeva and Devaki, they are chained up in the prison. Every moment, they are also afraid that when the child is born, Kamsa will get the news and Kamsa will come and kill the child as he has done before. So they are very, very afraid. But the nature who has got the news, don't know where from the nature knew that something is going to happen. So the nature has decorated itself. Beautiful shlokas. I will just read them. Just hear them. Close your eyes or let them remain open. Just hear the sound. Who is telling whom? Shukadeva is telling Parikshit, O king, the time has come and the whole world is getting ready to welcome the descent of the Lord. Atha sarvagunopayatah kalah paramashobhanah yarhe vajana jarmaksham shantakshagrahatarakam disha prasedurgaganam nirmalodu ganodayam mahi mangala bhuishtha puragrama brajakara nadya prasanna salila hradar jalaruhashriyah द्विजालिकुलसन्नादस्तवका वनराजयः ववौ वायुः सुखस्पर्शः पुण्यगन्धवः शुचिः अग्नयश्च द्विजातीनां शान्तास्तत्र समिन्धत मनांस्यासन् प्रसन्नानि साधूनाम् असुरद्रुहां जायमाने अजने तस्मिन् नेदुर्दुन्दुभयः समं जगुः किन्नरगन्धर्वास्तुष्टुभुः सिद्धचारणाः विद्याधर्यश्च न ऋतुः अप्सरोऽभि समं मुदा मुमुचुर्मुनयो देवाः सुमनांसि मुदान्विताः मन्दं मन्दं जलधरा जगर्जुरनुसागरम् निशीथे तम उद्भूते जायमाने जनार्दने देवक्या देवरूपिण्यां विष्णुः सर्वगुहाशयः आविरासीद्यथा प्राच्यां दिशेन्दुरिव पुष्कलः तमद्भुतं बालकमम्बुजेक्षणं चतुर्भुजं शङ्खचक्रगदायुधायुधम् श्रीवत्सलक्ष्मं गलशोभिकौस्तुभं पीताम्बरं सान्द्रपयोधसौभगं महार्हवैदूर्यकिरीटकुण्डलत्विषा परिष्यक्तसहस्रकुन्तलम् उद्दामकाञ्च्यङ्गदकङ्कणादिभिः विरोचमानं वसुदेवैक्षत विरोचमानं वसुदेवैक्षत. Vasudeva saw the child. Before that, how the nature has prepared itself. Let us see. Atha sarvagunopetaha kala paramashobhanaha. On knowing the Lord's descent, time chose to be the most auspicious. It chose the most auspicious moment, having all goodness, beauty and peace. Ajana janmaksham atha sarvagunopetaha kala paramashobhanaha yarhe vajana janmaksham yarhi va ajana janmaksham. What is that? Ajana janmaksham? The constellation Rohini. It appeared in the sky. Shantakshaggrahatarakam. And with the news of the arrival of Govinda, all other planets, sun, moon, everything became peaceful. You know, these planets sometimes are fierce and they have a lot of influence on if the creatures, especially the living beings' destiny. They also became absolutely calm. They left all their fierceness and unfavorable positions they left and they became favorable. Desha prasedu gaganam nirmalodu ganodayam. Desha prasedu. All the directions became prasanna, pleased, delightful in the sky. And in the sky, nirmalodu ganodayam. All other stars, numerous stars, they started shining and twinkling as if they were carrying a plate of diamond flowers to be offered at the Lord when the Lord comes. Mahi mangala bhuishtha puragrama brajakara. In the arrival of the auspicious Lord, the whole country became full with auspiciousness, with delight. Every city, every town, every village and fields became a sporting place of auspiciousness. It was Ananda and Ananda everywhere. The streets became clean, houses became decorated, conches and drums being heard, stutis and mantra were recited. Nadya prasanna salilaha. The delight spread to the rivers and forests. Secret news of the Lord's descent. With that news, the rivers started flowing, singing songs and dancing with its waves. Where? Towards the ocean. It was going towards the ocean, carrying the news that the Lord is coming. The Lord is arriving. Hrada jala ruhashriyaha The lakes are full of lotuses. Water in the lake is not able to flow like the rivers, but it became beautiful with so many lotuses having bloomed in it. And in a peaceful mind, it was watching what others are doing. The forest got ready and beautified itself. Nobody is there to go and see the forest and its beauty, but still it got bedecked with new leaves, new flowers, and new blooms. Dvijalikula sannada stabaka vanarajayaha. And so many trees were there. They were dancing and singing his name. The bees were humming, birds were chirping. All this was happening. Vavau vayus sukhasparshaha punyagandhavah shuchihi. The vayu, the wind, was blowing slowly, the breeze. Slowly it was coming, and it has a very beautiful touch. Sukhasparshaha. When it was coming and touching anybody, it was a touch of sukha. Punyagandhavaha shuchihi. And it was carrying with it fragrance of flowers, which were very pure. Impending advent of the Lord made the sleeping birds get up and fill the forest with their chirping and singing. They jumped from one branch to another. The earth became auspicious. Mahi mangala bhuyishtha puragrama brajakaraha. Pavau vayu sukhasparshaha punyagandhavah shuchihi agnayascha dvijatinam shantas tatra samindhata. Agnayascha dvijatinam shantras tatra samindhata. So beautifully described. Where was the Agni? The Brahmins were doing their sacrifice. They have finished their sacrifice because it is quite late at night. So the fire in the Yajna was getting off, putting off. They were becoming Shanta. But suddenly the fire found that all the other Panchabhutas, they are full with delight. Mahi, the earth, it has decorated itself. Then the water in the river is dancing and singing. The Vayu is blowing, carrying fragrance. Like this, when it saw, it's thought, why should I be left out? So, though the fire had calmed down, it started rising again. Without any mantra, without any ahuti, without anybody conducting the yajna, the Agni rose and rose and rose and started dancing with the flames in a clockwise manner, in the most auspicious manner. Manam syasan prasannani sadhunam asuradruham. And the Maha Ananda, see, all this is the description of what? Description of the nature outside. The outside nature. What happened inside the minds of people. So, Manamsi, Sadhunam Asuradrubham Manamsi. What happened? They became calm also. Unknown and unexpected Ananda and bliss completely filled the hearts of holy men and devotees. From where this bliss was coming, they did not understand. Where was it coming from? But it was entering their heart, filling them completely and captivating them. Their eyes shed profusely. Their minds were becoming stopped still, as if their mind was only at the feet of the Lord. It was such unknown delight, unprecedented. So unique was the delight. They felt they have never experienced it. And they were praying to the Lord that, oh Lord, let this delight be with us eternally. This was their condition. Now the Devas also experienced peace and fearlessness on hearing the news of Lord's birth. They are always afraid of the Asuras. They thought, Asuranishudana, Lord has arrived. Our days of fear and torture has come to an end. With the advent of Govinda, the devotees' hearts got filled with Purnananda. Single-minded they were. But even though those people who are not devoted to the Lord, their minds were also filled with some kind of delight just by seeing the nature. Only those whose hearts are filled with anger, hatred, jealousy, terror, cruelty, their minds were full with fear and anxiety. So Kamsa and Kamsa's assistants, they suddenly found a very great fear has engulfed them. And they become all the more worried. What will happen now if the Lord gets born? Now, the joy of this arrival of Govinda spread to the skies. It is as if the universe was not able to contain this Ananda. So it spread and spread to the sky. In the air, fire, in water, in earth, in the rivers, in the forest, in the mountains. And one hand filled the minds of devotees with hope of attainment of the Lord's feet, and the heart of Durjanas with fear and anxiety. And this wave, not being able to contain, the universe sent it towards the heaven, to the celestial spheres. It spread to the heavens. And what happened there? Jaguh kinnara gandharvaha tushtubuhu siddhacharanaha. They, Kinnara and Gandharvas, they started reciting auspicious songs. They are always singing. Normally also, in the Devas Sabha, Indra's Sabha, they always sing songs. Today also they started singing. Siddhas as Charanas also chanted hymns. But today, their songs were different. The songs were very, very peaceful. The songs had names of the Lord, the Supreme Lord. It was wonderful. It was devotional. And when they started chanting and singing, the Vidyadharas and then Apsaras, who had already gone for rest at the end of the day, Apsaras dance in the Sabha of Indra, They had gone after getting tired of this. At the end of the day, they were taking rest. But when this sound came and touched their ears, they also got up. And it was like drinking Amrita. So they came and started dancing with the rhythm of these chants and hymns. The sounds of Devadundubihi, the songs of Gandharvas and Kinnaras, hymns of Siddhas and Chanaras, dances of the Apsaras, and the sound of their anklets, all together, the Swargarajya was having a delightful noise. It cannot be called noise, a delightful sound. All the Devas got awakened, and they were thinking, the moment has come. They all came out. They went to the Nandana Kanana, and they collected flowers and started Pushpa Brishti, showering the flowers on earth over the prison of Kamsa, where the child is getting born there. Vidyadharyascha apsarobhihi nanituhu muda mumuchuhu munayaha devaha sumanamsi mudanvita. So this Deva, they were showering Pushpa Brishti. Now this Golakapati, the Supreme Lord, is arriving. All the other worlds also got filled with unknown delight. These waves of Ananda reached the oceans, and the oceans started ruffling with huge waves and started dancing. Mandam mandam jaladharaha jagarjuhu anusagaram. So when the heaven also started creating hymns and devotional sound, dancing, with all that, the oceans, they started getting ruffled. With big waves, they also started dancing. And the clouds, in tune with these waves of the ocean, they also started roaring, and got prepared. Prepared for what? Nishithe tama udbhute jayamane janardane nishitha. All this is happening at night. Are you able to imagine? Are you able to be there in that prison where this moment has come? The child has been born. The nature has decorated itself. The nature is offering itself at his feet. Nishithe tama udbhute jayamane janardane. Janardana, the Supreme Lord. Jayamane. When he is getting born, he has got born, then Devakyam Devarupanyam Vishnu Sarvaguhashayah Nishithe Tama Udbhute Jayamane Janardane Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarvaguhashayah Avirasid Yatha Prachyam Dishinduriva Pushkalaha. The boy is born. Nishithe Tama Udbhute. In that darkness, when the darkness had completely engulfed the whole world, then when Janardana was born, he is the Vishnu, he is Sarva Guhashaya, he is Mahavishnu. He is in the heart of everybody. To whom has he got born now? To Devaki, who is Devarupi. Devaki also is like the Devatas, as if she also belongs to the heaven. Avirasid yatha pratyam. The child was born in her lap. It is just like as if the full moon has risen in eastern side. Just like the whole sky becomes beautiful. Similarly, Yashoda's lap became so beautiful with this Abhirbhava, the arrival of this child. Jagannatha is arriving. No place is without the Ananda. In the oceans, in the mountains, in the sky, in the wind, in the villages, everywhere there is Ananda and Ananda. Just as before the sunrise, the sky starts becoming a little bit lighted, ultimately the sun's rays falls and makes it bright. Similarly, even when he has arrived, the whole world, the celestial spheres, everywhere, all the misery has gone, all the darkness has gone, and he has filled with all Ananda and making everything bright. Now, Devaki has given birth. The child has got born. And who is looking? Vasudeva was looking at him, looking at the birth, and he finds not a child with 2 hands. It's a child with 4 hands. It's having yellow dress. It is having the four hands are having all the weapons. There is Srivatsa Chinna, mark of Srivatsa on his chest. Kaustubha Mala he is wearing, and he is having lot of ornaments. This scene Vasudeva saw. Tamadbhutam balakam ambujekshanam chaturbhujam shankhagadayudayudham Srivatsalakshmam galashobhikaustubham Pitambaram sandrapayodasaubhagam Maharhavaidurya kirita kundalatvisha Parishvakta sahasrakuntalam Uddamakantyangada kankanadibhihi Virochamanam Vasudeva ikshata Tamadbhutam balakam ambujekshanam. Tamadbhutam, wonderful. Balakam, the child. Ambujekshanam, with eyes resembling lotus. Ambuja is lotus. His eyes were resembling the lotus. Chaturbhujam, he has four hands. Shankha Gadayudayudham, and the four hands were bearing conch, club, disc and lotus. Different weapons. Srivatsalakshmam Galashobhikaustubham, and he has Srivatsalakshmam. Only Lord Hari, Mahavishnu, has Srivatsa mark on his chest. Galashobhikaustubham Pitambaram Sandrapayoda Saubhagam, and he is wearing a garment which is yellow in color. Sandrapayoda Saubhagam, very beautiful, being present with the hue of the blackish clouds. What is the color of his body? Blackish, like the clouds. Maharhavaidurya kirita kundalatvisha Parishvakta sahasra kuntalam. His crown and his earrings were studded with valuable Vaidurya gems and brilliantly illuminated the scattered. What illuminated? His earrings and his crown, which was studded with the Vaidurya money. They were beautifying his hair. Curly hair which is falling on his forehead. All this was beautifying that. He had Uddama Kanchangada Kankana Divi, and he had waist belt, arm belt, wrist belt, all those ornaments. Vasudeva was looking at the child who was beautiful, who had this kind of dress and weapons. Vasudeva Aikshata. He kept on looking. He was wonderstruck. He never thought, because he could understand, this is not a simple child. This is the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord has taken birth in his own form. So he was very, very surprised. Savismayot pulla vilochano harim sutam Bilokyanaka dundubhistada Krishna avatarotsava samrama sprishan mudadvijebhyo yuta mapluto gavam Savismayot pulla vilochano harim. He was looking. Automatically his hands folded, and with wonderstruck eyes he was looking at the Lord. He was having Vismaya, surprise, and Utpulla, he was happy also. To celebrate the birth of Krishnavatara, he had nothing. Poor father, he was imprisoned. He had nothing in his hand to gift anybody, to buy sweets for anybody, to call people and feed them. So what he did, mentally, he collected many cows, 10,000 cows mentally, and gifted to the Brahmins. He was surprised because he thought, I do not know what fortune I have to have the Lord's darshan, whom the munis and rishis, they are not able to attain with their tapasya for long years. What have I done without doing any tapasya? I have become the father of the Supreme Lord who has come here in his actual real form. He is all pervading, he is Parabrahma. How can he take birth in a mother's womb? He is unlimited. But how can he become limited in the mother's womb? Am I saying correctly? He was thinking. He was also thinking that this is not a naked child. This child is having 4 hands, so many ornaments, so many weapons. So who is he? And then he understood that he is the Lord. He is the Lord because all of us are fearful of Kamsa. We are very afraid of Kamsa. He has come to kill Kamsa and make us all fearless. So he thought, at one hand he's thinking it is my child. And immediately looking at the child, he is getting completely engulfed with devotion. So he folded his hand, he bent down, and he started talking, singing hymns to the Lord. He said, Viditosi bhavan sakshat purusha prakrite paraha kevalanubhavananda swarupa sarva buddhidrik viditosi bhavan sakshat purusha prakrite paraha kevalanubhavananda swarupa sarva buddhidrik. He says, O Lord, you have illumined the whole maternity room. By your luster, the whole prison has become lighted. I have understood that you, the Supreme Lord, you have come as my son. You, who is the nature of pure consciousness and bliss, who is the witness of everything. He became overwhelmed, Vasudeva, by his affection for the child and by his devotion to the Supreme Lord, understanding the prowess of the Lord. He was thinking and telling the Lord through his hymns that, O Lord, you who are the Jagat Pita, you have accepted me as your father. You are the father of the whole world. How can you consider me as your father? And you are so graceful. This father of yours, who is simply a human being, to grace him because he is in the prison nowadays. You have come and taken birth in the prison itself. O Lord, you are the one propitiating whom devoted people, those who are devoted to you with their austerities, with their contemplation, and with their propitiation of you, they get liberated from all bondages. You liberate everybody from their bondage. What is this Leela of yours that you have self-willed and you have come and taken bondage in this prison? You are all powerful. O Lord, I know that 1,000 Kamsas will not be able to do any harm to you. I know that very well. Even if somebody is devoted at your feet, Kamsa will not be able to harm that person. I know all that, O Lord. But I am a father. I have become a father. With this fatherly affection, I am getting very worried and anxious. How will I save you? How will I protect you from Kamsa's hands? Saying this, his eyes shed profusely. He could speak no more. He was completely overwhelmed, and with folded hands, unblinkingly, he was looking at that beautiful form of the Supreme Lord. You know, Vedavyasa has pictured this kind of a picture of Vasudeva, who was torn between his fatherly affection, where he was fearful, and at the same time understanding who this is, all powerful, all consciousness. He is the one who is the source of everything and everybody. And he just knelt and he was crying with folded hands. Devaki also noticed the son, and Devaki also started her hymns. He said, "You are Mahavishnu, you are the original, you are the spiritual light, you are unmanifest, you are beyond all gunas, you are changeless. O Lord, I seek refuge in thee. But I am also very afraid that Kamsa will come and kill you. He will snatch you away from me. I will be very, very miserable at that time. How to save you? I do not know. Martyo mrityugyala bhita palayan lokan sarvan nirbhayam nadhya gachyat tvatpadabjam prapya yadrichayadya sustha shete mrityudasmadapaiti. Matyo mrityuvyalabhita palayan lokan sarvan nirbhayam nadhya gachyat tvatpadabjam prapya yadrichayadya susthashete mrityurasmadapaiti. He says that fearing the serpent of death, O Lord, man runs from here to there, where or not he goes. But he is not able to find any place of security. At last, if he turns his mind towards you and takes shelter at your feet, then you protect him and he attains to peace. Man is not able to escape from the clutches of death at any time. When man is born, death is also born and follows him. He may take medicines, he may take good food, he may make the places of his stay very comfortable, but he cannot escape death. Death is sure for a beggar as well as an emperor. Now, Kamsa is going to kill my child, I know. So I am becoming very, very afraid, very worried. O Lord, I take refuge in thee. And also, O Lord, I tell you, I pray to you, please do not reveal this form of yours. People will not understand. Ordinary people will not understand. So I pray to you, O Lord, you become an ordinary child. Let not Kamsa know that you have taken birth from my womb. Maite janma mahavidyat. He says that let not Kamsa come to know. Upasamhara. He Vishwatman, upasamhara. Lupam alaukikam upasamhara. That this alaukika rupa, you please withdraw. And see how you can protect yourself. Because of your safety, I am becoming very, very anxious. Now, the Lord, hearing Devaki, the Lord reminded her. He spoke to Devaki and Vasudeva that at one time in Swayambhuva Manvantara, Brahma had commanded you to create and have progeny. So, at that time, you were Prishni and Vasudeva was Sutapa, Maharshi Sutapa, Prajapati Sutapa. So, both of them, by the command of Brahma, they had propitiated Lord Vishnu. So the Lord, this child now talks to the parents, Devaki and Vasudeva, and says, you know, you had done lots of tapasya for me for 12,000 divine years. You had controlled your senses and mind. You had controlled your prana by pranayama. You withstood severity of the weather and seasonal changes. You subsisted on dry leaves and ultimately left that and subsisted on air alone. And I became pleased with you. So I gave you darshan, vision, and I asked you because I was pleased with you, satisfied with your shraddha, your faith, and your austerity. I said, ask for a boon. And both of you asked for a boon, chose a boon, so that you get a son like me. This is what Mahavishnu says. He says, Mohito mama mayaya. Because of my maya, though you could have asked for liberation at that time, you forgot all about liberation and you asked for a son like me. So I had to get born as your son. And he said that in earlier times, he was born in the first birth as Prishnigarbha, in the second birth as Vamana to Diti and Kashyapa, and he says, this is my third birth. I have taken birth in this form so that you recognize me. And in order that you recognize my identity, I have revealed to you my divine form. Now, thinking of me again and again, he's telling whom? He's telling his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, thinking of me again and again as Brahman on one hand and as a son on the other hand, you will go to the heights of devotion and you will attain me at the end. So saying, the child becomes a normal child. Now, Vasudeva got instruction from the Devas, from the Lord himself, that he should carry that child to Vrajabhumi and keep the child there to grow in Nanda Gopa's palace. I think all of you know this story. So I was thinking whether this story has to be told or not. But you know, when I read these commentaries, I feel that this is not just a story. So many things have to be learned. You know what it says? Vasudeva, being instructed, he picks up the child. He was thinking, how will I go? I am chained and the doors of the prison is closed by heavy iron doors and locked with many, many locks. And there are so many guards moving around. How will I go? But what happened is that Vasudeva's chain got opened. As he started, all the doors became open, and he found that by Yoga Maya's influence, all the guards were sleeping as if unconscious. The whole of Mathurapuri was unconscious. So he came out. His only one aim was to go to Vrajabhumi. He doesn't know how he will go. He has carried the child. And, you know, if we look into this, it is such a truth. How did all this happen? For any devotee who carries the Lord in the heart, who treads the path of devotion, what can chains do? The chains will be opened. The chains of attachment and delusion. This Vasudeva's chain were actual chains. For us who are on this path of sadhana, we must think that if we keep the Lord in our heart, as it is being said, sing His name, chant His glories, think about Him, contemplate on Him, meditate on Him, keeping the Lord in the heart, all these chains of attachment and delusion will be opened, broken. The closed doors are like desire and expectation. If you keep the Lord in the heart, the Lord remaining in the heart, dhunoti sarvam hridi sannivishtaha. He makes the heart pure. So the attachment and delusions all will be broken. The closed doors like desire and expectations will be removed, and guards which can be compared to the lust and passion all will get removed. So Vasudeva, since he was carrying the Lord in the heart, his path became easy, effortless. So he went. As he was going, he found that it was raining. It started raining. Then Vasudeva, his mind was nowhere. He did not mind whether it was raining or not. And why was it raining? Indra thought, let it rain. In that case, nobody will come out of the house. Nobody will be able to see him. And it is pitch dark. If there is lightning, at least Vasudeva will be able to see his path at times. So this is how they were helping him. Adishesha, Anantanaga, he also followed. He got a chance to do Krishna Seva. So with 1,000 hood, he put up the umbrella on the head of Vasudeva and the child Krishna. And Vasudeva was going towards the river. When he reached the river, he found that the river was in spate, full with water. Very high waves were there. There was no boat or boatman. How will he cross? What will he do? So he was very helpless. He was thinking, now how will I cross? How will I take this child to the other bank? There is no boat, no boatman. I cannot even try to swim with this boy in my hand, in my bosom. In front is this river, fierce. If I turn back, it is the fiercer Kamsa. In both ways I cannot turn. So what am I supposed to do? I am supposed to take this child. So he was trying to put his feet into the river and again came coming back. At one point he felt that let me see and tried. The river was coming, rising, the waves and the ripples of the river was rising and rising. From his chest, Vasudeva kept the child on his shoulder. Then Vasudeva kept the child on his head. But still the water was rising, as if to touch the holy feet of the child Krishna. Once it touched, the river became absolutely quiet. Suddenly Vasudeva saw the river has become calm. It is receding, and as he is walking, river is making a pathway for him. So he walked and reached the other shore. And now he has to go to Nanda Gopa's house. Who will show him the way? Who will show him the way? All the commentators say, when one takes the name of God, the path will be there. One cannot be pathaphrashta. A beautiful path will open for a devotee. The right path, treading which he can reach the feet of the Lord. Vasudeva also reached. And reaching Brajabhumi, reaching Nanda Gopa's house, he found there also everybody is sleeping. Nobody came to know that he has come. he kept the child by the side of Yashoda, who had given birth. Yogamaya had been born as a daughter to Yashoda and Nandagopa. Now, Vasudeva has to be quick. All along he is feeling that what if Kamsa comes to know? What if the guards get up? When I came out, the guards were sleeping. Suppose they get up and they call Kamsa, and Kamsa comes running. What will happen? Will they harm Devaki? All these thoughts were going on in his mind. But he was not able to leave the child there and go away also. Every time he was trying to keep the child on the bed, he was taking it back on his chest, kissing, looking at his face, and again trying to keep him back. At one point, his eyes fell on the small child, the daughter, Yogamaya. She was with her eyes trying to tell, go quickly. So Vasudeva kept Krishna. For the last time, he kissed the face of the little child and picked up this daughter, the Yogamaya, and returned. Yashoda was so tired and sleepy. She had known that she has given birth to a child. She did not know whether it was a boy or a girl. Now, Vasudeva came back, and coming back, he found that he gave the small girl to Devaki, and he found that his chains got locked by itself, the prison doors got locked by itself, and the girl child Yogamaya started crying. As soon as Yogamaya cried, the guards also got up and they understood that a birth has taken place. So they ran and went and told Kamsa. Kamsa was awake the whole night. Kamsa was dreading this moment. He could not sleep because he knew that this was the day of the arrival of the child, and he believed that ethereal voice. He knew that this child is going to kill me. So he never slept. As soon as he got the news, he ran towards that maternity room, and seeing the child, he approached Devaki. Poor Devaki. He was clutching the baby daughter in her bosom, crying profusely, and piteously she was saying, "Oh brother, please spare this child. She is a daughter. She will not kill you. You have killed so many children of mine. At least give me this child to fill my lap. Give me as a gift. Oh brother, don't be so cruel." Like this, she was crying and crying. But the Kamsa, the villain, he snatched the child from Devaki's clutches. Devaki was keeping the child like this, close to her chest, and holding the feet of the child, he thrashed the child on a stone block. And what happened? Such a wonder. Everybody looked. The child did not get crushed at all. It leapt out from Kamsa's hands and leapt up and went to the sky and assumed the form of an 8-handed goddess, beautiful to look at, beautifully decorated, beautiful garments, ornaments and weapons, Vanamala in her neck. He looked at Kamsa and said, "The fool you are, what will you gain by killing me? Your traditional enemy, the enemy whom you have for all your lives and even in earlier lives, has already got born somewhere. Try and find him out. And don't torture other infants unnecessarily." This is what she said, and she went away. Kamsa was wonderstruck. He just looked and looked. His first reaction was to liberate Devaki and Vasudeva. He started crying and repenting, saying that, believing the celestial voice, I have killed so many of your children. I should not have done this. I am such a sinner. Now, what is there in store for me when I die, I don't know. Please forgive me. And he also said that I always thought that human beings tell lies. Now I find that devas are also telling lies. These celestial devas, they told that the eighth child will kill me. And now see, this eighth child did not get killed, just jumped and went away, and it was a daughter even. So whom to believe? If I have sinned, devas have sinned more than me. This is what he was trying. He was crying, shedding tears, repenting and telling all these things. And he quoted many shastras, feeling a lot of pity for Devaki. He was quoting shastras and trying to pacify her, saying that, oh sister, don't cry. What has happened was sure to have happened. Everything is destined. And also that your other children have whatever they have suffered, it is according to their past karmas. So don't get affected. Ultimately, he fell at the feet of Devaki and Vasudeva and said, pardon me for my heartless action. Shamadvam mama dauratmyam sadhavo dina vatsalaha ittuktva padau shyala swasro rathagrahit. Ashrumukha, his face was full with tears. Can we believe it? Kamsa was crying. And he was addressing them as your bandhu vatsalaha, your friend of anybody who is close to you. You are loving, you are compassionate, you are sadhavaha, you are having pure heart. Shuddha hridayaha. Mama dauratmyam shamadva. Please excuse my villainous act. Forgive me. And saying this, he caught hold of their feet. Devaki and Vasudeva, they were very good-natured. They were assuaged. They forgive him, and they left. Kamsa also went back with tears in his eyes. Now, the next morning, this was all happening at what time? Night. Next morning, Kamsa sent for all the ministers and told them everything that has happened about Yogamaya leaping from his hand and going away. What has he said? What has Yogamaya said? And he also said that he has liberated Devaki and Vasudeva because it's no use keeping them in the prison now, and that he is repentant. The ministers were all surprised. They said, O king, what have you done? If Yogamaya has told you that your enemy has been born already, then you please give order. We will go to all towns, villages and the cowherd settlements everywhere and kill children who are 10 days old. 10 days or less. We will kill all of them. They were telling Kamsa, suppose we do that, do you think the devatas will become angry and will come and fight with us? No chance at all. Because Kamsa was telling them, see, if we do all these things, all this killing and all that, maybe the devas will come and fight with us. They said, no chance at all. Devas are very cowardly. They tremble when they hear your name. And when you are in front of them or you are in a fight with them, then they just flee the place. Don't you remember in your earlier fights, many of them fled and many of them laid down their weapons and surrendered in fear. They were shivering, their garments got loose, their hair got loose, they left their arms and they came and fell at your feet and said that we are very afraid of you, please protect us. These are the devas. And you have been always very considerate, O king. You have been very considerate. You have spared the lives of all such persons because you follow this right policy. What is that policy? That you will not kill in a fight anybody who has surrendered their weapons, whose chariots have been damaged, who are trembling with fear, who have lost their bows or bows have got broken, who are unwilling to fight, and who are engaged in other occupations in the battlefield. So, what can these devas do? They are bold where they have nothing to fear. In a very comfortable place, they show their valor. And though they throw challenges where there is nobody to fight with them. Look at Sri Hari. He is such a coward. He always goes and hides in the hearts of devotees so that nobody can find him and see him. Look at Shiva. He is always either in the cremation ground or in a forest. Nobody will go there to search for him. And Brahma, he is always engaged in tapas and creation. So, he is indifferent to everything. This Indra is there. He always feels that he has a lot of prowess and he leads the other devatas. But he is also very cowardly. For his weapon, he has to go and beg from others. So, we do not have any fear of the devatas that they will come and attack us if we start killing children in various places. You give us an instruction, an order, so that we will go and we will kill. But one thing is there. On second thought, they said, we should not neglect them also. If a disease is neglected at first, it becomes very difficult to treat it later. If senses are not controlled in the beginning, then they are let loose in the beginning. It is very difficult to control later. So disease, if we don't cure the disease and let it grow, it will be difficult to cure it. If senses are not controlled, then it will be out of control and it will be very difficult later. Similarly, an enemy has to be uprooted in the beginning itself. Otherwise, the enemy will gain strength and it will be very difficult to defeat him. So, we should not keep quiet. We should try to see how these devatas can be suppressed. And they say, Moolam hi Vishnur Devanam Yatra Dharma Sanatanaha Tasya cha Brahma Govipraha Tapo Yajñas Sadakshinaha Moolam hi Vishnur Devanam Yatra Dharma Sanatanaha Tasya cha Brahma Govipraha Tapo Yajñas Sadakshinaha. They said, O king, they are talking to Kamsa. They are giving very good advice to Kamsa. Saying, O king, Mahavishnu is the basic support of the devas. He is worshipped wherever there is Sanatana Dharma. Wherever is Sanatana Dharma, you know that Vishnu is there. Also, where Vedas are studied, where cows are there, where Brahmins are there, austerities are there, know that Lord Vishnu is staying there. So we should try to somehow destroy these things. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan brahmanan brahmavadin vadinaha tapasvino yatyashilan gaschahanmoha virdukhaha. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan brahmanan brahmavadinaha tapasvino yatyashilan gaschahanmoha virdukhaha. O king, we are your associates and we want to help you. We shall therefore kill the Vedic Brahmins who are offering sacrifices, who are doing yajnas and offering ahutis. We will also kill the cows who give milk, because this milk itself is made into ghee, and ghee is being used in the yajna. So we will kill all of them. Vipra gavascha vedascha tapah satyam damas shamah shraddha daya titiksha kratavascha hare tanoh. And they are also giving all these advices to Kamsa, saying that Brahmins, cows, Vedas, austerity. Vipra gavaha vedaha tapaha satyam damas shamaha. Brahmins, cows, Vedas, austerities, and control of senses, truthfulness, control of the mind, Shraddha, faith, Daya, mercy, Titiksha, tolerance, and Kratavaha, sacrifices. All these form the body of Lord Hari. What are these? Vipraha, Brahmins, Gavaha, cows, Vedaha, Vedas, Tapaha, austerity, Satyam, truthfulness, Damaha, control of senses, Shamaha, control of mind, Shraddha, faith, Daya, mercy, Titiksha, tolerance, and Kratavaha, sacrifices. These are Harehe Tanu, Hari's body. Hari is formed by this, nourished by this. Whereas devotees, they want to grow in this. All the devotees, they want to do tapasya, they want to remain truthful, they want to pursue dama and shama, that is control of senses and control of mind. They want to have the virtues like Shraddha, Daya, Titiksha and all that. What are these people saying? This is all Hari's body. So Mahavishnu, the soul on everybody's heart and known as Ashuradvit, the only way to kill him, O Maharaja, is to suppress and destroy all these things, especially the holy men. And look at Kamsa. He had become better. He had a lot of repentance. But when the death comes, people's intelligence becomes dull. So he was forced to take this advice. And look at these advisors also. You know, in life, people may give many advice to us. We have to have a discriminative mind and intelligence to understand which advice is good for us and which advice is not. And how will you understand which is good or bad? By doing anything. If anybody is harmed, we should not do this. So that should be the watchword. Any advice heard or anything that we decide, we should see to it that we are not harming or hurting anybody. That should be the only watchword. So Kamsa, he heard and he took all their advices, and what did he do? So he gave instruction. Now very happy that these people, they will somehow find out my killer and kill that, so that I can live long and I can be the emperor of this whole earth or universe. Ayushriyam yashodharmam lokanashisha evacha hanti shreyamsi sarvani pumso mahadatikramah. Ayushriyam yashodharmam lokanashisha evacha hanti shreyamsi sarvani pumso mahadatikramah. So, what did Kamsa say? Kamsa gave instruction and directed all the asuras who were naturally disposed to cruelty. Some in their clan may not be so. They were good people also. So those who were given to cruelty, he told them, given to cruelty and evil-mindedness, and also who had the capacity to take any kind of form and go anywhere they liked, like Putana and all. He told them that they should carry on the campaign of persecution of holy people, Brahmins, cows, and wherever yajna is taking place, they should destroy. Ayushriyam yashodharmam lokan ashisha evacha hanti shreyamsi sarvani pumso mahadatikramah. When a man persecutes great souls, then the benedictions, all his benedictions for longevity. What is longevity? Ayuhu. So when a man persecutes holy people, all his benedictions, all the blessings that he could have got from the holy people, all those will be spoiled. And the benedictions for what? Ayuhu, longevity, Shriyam, beauty, Yashaha, fame, Dharmam, religion, Lokan, Ashisha, blessings and elevation to higher and higher degrees of devotion. Hanti Shreyamsi Sarvani, Sarvani Shreyamsi Hanti. All good things in the life will be destroyed. This, who is saying this? We should not forget who is saying. Shukadeva is saying Parikshit, Raja Parikshit. He is telling the story. So, after telling the story of Kamsa, how Kamsa was ill-advised by his ministers and decided to send asuras to kill the children and all that, and the Brahmins, and destroy yajnas and all that. That is, bring about lot of atrocity to people who want to live peacefully. So, Shukadeva is saying, O king, this is what will happen if you try to persecute a great soul. So, now, this one part is over. We should not forget. What we have seen today is Krishna's birth. How the nature, the heavenly spheres, the celestial spheres, they started decorating themselves and they were full of Ananda to welcome the Lord. Everywhere, Ananda was flowing and flowing. The Lord was born. Devaki and Vasudeva both were surprised to see him in that form, and they sang hymns. From that affection towards their small child, the child whom they thought, it is my child, and their hearts were full of parently affection. At the same time, they were feeling so much of devotion and so much of awe at the thought that this is a Supreme Lord who has taken birth as our child. And at the same time, thinking that Kamsa will come and kill this one also. Very soon, as he comes to know, they were full of fear and anxiety. And they did not know what to do. So they were pleading with the Lord himself that upasamhara rupam alaukikam. This alaukika rupa, the extraordinary form of yours, please withdraw it and become an ordinary child. And that is what the child did. And then the child instructed Vasudeva to take him to Vrajabhumi so that he grows up there. If Kamsa came to know, Kamsa will kill him. And that is not to happen. So Vasudeva was supposed to take him. He placed him in Nandagopa's house by the side of Nandagopa's wife Yashoda and brought back the small girl. And whom, when Kamsa wanted to kill, she just flew away and told him, cautioned him that your killer has been born already. You can try to find and search and find him. Don't torture other infants. Kamsa was repentant, but his ministers ill-advised him. And Kamsa then planned to kill not only small children, planned to kill the holy people, planned to disturb the yajnas and sacrifices, making his pitcher of sin heavier and heavier, so that a day comes when the Lord will have to finish him off. This is what we saw today. We should not forget that Krishna is born. And where is he? He is in Gokula. He is lying by the side of Yashoda. He is playing there, throwing his small arms and small legs. And after some time, when Yashoda gets up, she finds that it's a boy. It's a boy. Nanda and Yashoda did not have a child for a long time. In the kingdom of Nandagopa, everything was very, very peaceful. Everything was very happy. But people had a little dukkha. The people of this place, they always felt sorrowful that such a king like Nandagopa and his wife, such a lady, so noble, so virtuous, so loving, they do not have a son. Not only a son, they do not have a child. So, when there was a Lakshana that Yashoda is also carrying and Yashoda will be delivering a child very soon, everybody was happy. And now, that son they are finding, they don't know this exchange of children. They only came to know that our king has a son now. The queen has delivered a small young child, beautiful to look at, just like a neela color, blue color gem. It is lying by the side of Yashoda. And see what of all festivities they do in the name of the birth of this child. And we'll also be a part of it tomorrow. So I will chant again the slokas which had really captivated me. Atha sarvagunopetah kalah paramashobhanah yarhe vajana janmaksham shantakshagrahatarakam disha prasedurgaganam nirmalodu ganodayam mahi mangala bhuishtha puragrama prajakara nadyah prasanna salila hrada jalaruhashriyah द्विजाति कुलसन्नादस्तबकावनराजयः ववौ वायुः सुखस्पर्शः पुण्यगन्धवः शुचिः अग्नयश्च द्विजातीनां शान्तास्तत्र समिन्धत मनांस्यासन् प्रसन्नानि साधूनाम् असुरद्रुहां जायमाने अजने तस्मिन् नेदुर्दुन्दुभयः समम् जगुः किन्नरगन्धर्वास्तुष्टुभुः सिद्धचारणाः विद्याधर्यश्च न ऋतुः अप्सरोऽभिसमं मुदा मुमुचुर्मुनयो देवाः सुमनांसि मुदान्विताः मन्दं मन्दं जलधराः जगर्जुरनुसागरम् निशीथे तम उद्भूते जायमाने जनार्दने देवक्यां देवरूपिण्यां विष्णुः सर्वगुहाशयः आविरासीद् यथा प्राच्यां दिशीन्दुरिव पुष्कलः तमद्भुतं बालकमम्बुजेक्षणं चतुर्भुजं शङ्खगदायुधायुधं श्रीवत्सलक्ष्मं गलशोभिकौस्तुभं पीताम्बरं सान्द्रपयोदसौभगं महार्हवैदूर्यकिरीटकुण्डलत्विषा परिष्वक्तसहस्रकुन्तलम् उद्दामकाञ्च्यङ्गदकङ्कणादिभिः विरोचमानं वसुदेवैक्षत उद्दामकाञ्च्यङ्गदकङ्कणादिभिः विरोचमानं वसुदेवैक्षत। जय गुरु, जय गुरु, जय गुरु।